chat.
Hey guys, what's up? So we have a new update on Advanced Server and it's patch 1.6.16. First on our list is Fanny. The developers lowered the energy requirement for her first skill by 7 points. Sounds good, right? But don't get your hopes up yet, because they also fixed a long time bug about the cost of energy during flight. And because of this, she will now regenerate less energy when hitting multiple heroes just like this. As you can see, the advanced server version has less energy after a wall spam. But if you're going against a single target, you get more energy just like this. So I guess she's better when against a single target. What can Fanny users say about this change? Next is the nerf on Lancelot. They increased the mana requirement in the early game for his first and second skill. This will make him buff dependent at the early stage. The mana requirement at late game is lowered, which is quite useless since by then, he already has built items for mana regen. So maybe you should start invading Lancelot's jungle after this update. Next is the nerf on XBorg. His first skill will no longer inflict slow effect when the temperature of the target has reached the limit. Is it time to say goodbye to XBorg jungler? Next is the nerf on Saber. His passive skill now has a weaker effect in the early game. They lowered the armor reduction in the early levels, but it remains the same at late game. In exchange, they increase his HP growth by 15 points. So weaker damage in the early game, but more HP at late. Next is Granger. They adjusted the buff they gave last week on his first skill. Removed the 25% damage on jungle creeps and replaced it with a flat 50 points of damage. This improves his early jungling but not so much at late game. Next is the nerf on Tigreal. They adjusted his HP and physical defense stats by lowering their base and increasing their growth. It means his early game now has less defense and HP, but he becomes tankier at late game. Next is the buff on Kagura. They increased the base damage of her first skill, and the new skill indicator is here to stay. Is it really distracting? Next is the increased damage of Mathilda's first skill. They added 10 points on all levels. Next is the buff on Phoveus, plus 40 points of damage on his ultimate. Next is the buff on Wanwan. They added 20 points of damage on her first skill. Next is the buff on Argus. His ultimate will now last for 4 seconds instead of 3. To make things balanced, they had to increase the cooldown by 5 seconds. Remember, this version still gives him immunity to slow effect. So I guess it's not so bad after all. From 5 seconds down to 4 with slow immunity and shorter cooldown. Next is Eve. Lower extra damage from her first skill. According to the developers, it's a way to balance the mobility she gets from the skill. Next is Natan. Swapping clones can only be done once with his ultimate. The cancellation distance is increased by 1 yard, and swapping with clones will also reduce the cooldown of his first and second skill by 50%. Next is the buff on Aulus. He can now get enhanced basic attacks if his second skill hits minions. Previously, you can only do that against heroes and jungle monsters. Now it's easier to clear lanes and collect stacks when minions are near. Next is Bruno. He was a bit too strong from the update last week, so they lowered the range of his basic attack. It's still a buff if we compare this to official server because his original range is only at 4.9 yards. Next is Floryn. She now has a new voice and her model is complete.
Let's make the whole world green and lively.
They also made some slight adjustments to her first and passive skill. Next is the item Immortality and the battle spell Execute. The developers wanted Immortality users to have a chance to survive against the spell Execute, so they made some adjustments. They lower the base damage of Execute and increase the HP gained after resurrecting from Immortality. So I guess you can now survive after resurrecting just like this. Last one is the new item icons. There's also this new potion which you can use to remove the throw forbidden effect. So what can you say about the update? Which part did you like the most? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.